Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Lawrence. I'm here to talk about the work for the week of May 4th, our enrichment work that the district has provided to you. So you are going to receive a packet that's going to have all of the work in there. And for the algebra section, you are going to, I think it might be labeled like Math 1, but for the algebra section, it looks like this. So it says 4 by 4 from scenarios and words, and then 4 by 4 from data, and then from equations, from graphs, assessment, standard form, and then it moves into geometry, which they've misspelled geometry here. But anyways, so that's what the algebra work looks like. Of course, you can go ahead and complete it in your packet that you receive, but we've also gone ahead, Ms. Melendez was awesome enough to put it into Google Sheets. And she also found a way that we have to graph on here. And I know graphing was an issue with last week. So she found a way that with using Google Sheets, you can create a table and graph the points using Google Sheets. It will do it all for you. And I'm about to show that to you. So Google Sheets, it's going to look like this. Here's the assignment. So when it's shared with you, it's going to look like this. It says at the bottom, there's the tabs. So where my cursor is right now, it says scenarios and words. That was the first page of the packet. Then data, that was the second page. Equations, the third. Graph was the fourth. Assessment was the fifth. Standard form was the sixth. So all six of the pages that are in the packet, there are different tabs at the bottom. So if you're like, after you go through the first tab and you scroll and you're like, well, where's the rest of it? You have to click to the next tab. So if I'm looking at this first one, scenarios and words, you're given a scenario, it's asking you to create the equation that matches the scenario and complete a table for that. I don't know if it's asking us to graph necessarily. Let me go back to this. I don't remember if it provided. Yeah. So on the original, notice there's a graph. So we don't have a graph on ours because we're going to import the graph. Google Sheets is going to do that graph for us. So I'm going to read this scenario for this first one. It says Fred moves into town with no friends, poor Fred, and makes one new friend every day. Yay for Fred. So I'm going to think about that scenario. So he moves into town. So when he moves to town, I have to think about is that going to be my X or my Y? So when the days, because it says every day. So remember, our independent variable is our X value, and X independent variables, they're always usually they are some sort of like a time measurement. Anytime you have a time measurement that's good practices, that's going to be your X. So each day is going to be an X, and then here is going to be Y, then would be our other variable, which would be the number of friends he makes. So if he moves to town, moving to town that very first day, I'm not going to count that as day one. I'm going to count that as day zero. So he moves to town, day zero. How many friends does he have? Well, it tells us Fred moves and he has no friends. He knows nobody. I'm going to put a zero there. Then next day, first day, he goes out and about in the town and he meets a new friend. So now my Y, which was friends, it's now one. I'm going to actually take this and I'm going to put this, I'm going to put days, and I'm going to type in here, I'm going to put for Y, I'm going to put friends. So if you're looking at this and you're like, why are we putting these numbers there? So, oh no, there we go, friends. So day zero, zero friends. Day one, yay, one friend. Day two comes around. Oh, wait, there we go. Let me click the right spot. Day two comes around and he goes to the park and makes another friend. So now he's up to two friends in his new town. Day three comes around and you guessed it, made another friend. He went to the grocery store, still practicing social distancing though, haha. And then day four, another friend. So now he's up to four friends. Fifth day, he's been there a week and he's now up to five whopping friends. Fred's going to make a lot of friends here. So we've got our table. So now we need to, I want to make a graph of this information. So what I'm going to do is you are going to go ahead and you are going to click and highlight the entire table. So I'm going to click and highlight that table. We have two options here. One option is if you go here at the bottom of the screen, so the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, this little like plus star looking thing, it says explore. If I click there and open this, all this different information about our data is going to show up, like the sum, the average, min, max, etc. So it's going to come up. It's going to come up with formatting. And then look at this, analysis. What did it create? It created a graph of our data. So it even tells us that for every increase of 1 in X days, Y friends increases by about 1. So I have a graph right there, and I can go ahead and I can just click on it and I can drag it and I can just throw it right there. I can like minimize it, make it a little bit smaller, and I can move it. I think I can move it. Maybe I can move it, but maybe not. But here is the graph. And then there's these three little dots here: edit the chart, delete, publish, copy, move to its own sheet, all of those things. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to remove it because I'm going to show you the other way too. So I'm going to delete the chart, delete. I'm going to close Explorer, and I'm going to go up here in the toolbar at the top. I see this little thing next to the plus sign, and it looks like a graph, and it says insert chart. So I'm going to insert chart, but it says no data. Anyone want to know why it says no data? Because I forgot to re-highlight my table. So I'm going to re-highlight the table, go up here to insert chart. I'm going to try this again, and it gives you different options. It'll start you with the one that they think is best suited for this. So it says line chart. I could make a scatter chart. I can make an area chart. I could even make a column chart. So it says suggested. We're going to skip with the suggested chart here. I'm going to try and I want to close, make this a little bit smaller. And voila, there is our chart, our graph, if you will, for said data here for Fred. Now I need to also still make my equation. So to type for my equation, remember we're going to type in y equals mx plus b format. So y, we have y, and it's going to be, I'm going to kind of space this out here. So y equals mx, so m represents my slope. So what is our slope? So I can look at my table and find my change in y over my change in x, or I can just look at my graph here. So here's my cursor. So at 1 day, he had 1 friend, 2 days, he had 2. So it's rising, going up 1, running 1. So my slope is 1. Every day he's increasing by 1 friend. So 1x plus, because it's a plus, and then b would be my y-intercept. My y-intercept here is what? 0. So I don't want to put plus 0. That's not correct. So I'm going to delete the plus sign, and it would just be y equals 1x. Y being friends, x being days. So each day, take the number of days, multiply it by 1. That's going to tell me how many friends Fred has. So that's the first example, okay? So then you're going to do the same thing. Move off the screen. You have to do the same thing with Jamie and spending $5 to start the lemonade stand. And then what do we have? Ollie has $10 and he spends $5 every 2 days. Again, you're going to complete the table and you can make the chart, the graph for it right in Google Sheets. So the tab at the bottom that says data, it shows us the data tab. We're going to do the same thing, except this time it has given us the table. You have to create a scenario. So think about Fred moving to the new town. You need to create a scenario that matches this data and use this data to create an equation. And again, to make the graph for it, I'm going to highlight my table. And either go down here where it says explore or go right up here where it says insert chart. Click it, and it's going to make, ooh, it makes a negative slope. So it makes a graph of the data. So we had a negative x and a negative y here, which is why I see more of the coordinate grid, opposed to our last one with Fred, where it was just the positive, it was all positive. Here I see some negative too. So there's the chart. So again, you just have to create the scenario, create the equation that matches this. So if I click down here at equations tab, see what we got going on here. So in equations, so from equations, it's giving us the equation. Again, create the scenario. So I don't know, you are going to go on a taxi ride. It's $2 for the ride plus $3 per mile. There could be a possible scenario. And then you would fill in the table given your scenario or given this. So you just start with, 0 for X and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's fine. Fill your table in and then again, go up here to insert chart and it'll do it for you. Graph. Oh, so this one, they've given us the graph. We have to create the equation, scenario, and all of those things. So if I'm given the graph, I'm going to take points off of the graph. So right here where I have the cursor, it's x is 0, y is 1. So x is 0, I have y is 1. And then I have right here, when x is 1, y is 1, 2, 3, 1, nope, not 2, 1, and then 3. And you kind of get the idea. So you're going to complete the table based on this, and then use your data to create the equation. So then let's see, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2, 2, 5. So if I have to create an equation, I'm going to say my equation is y equals, so the rise over run is 1, 2, 3, whoa, 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 whoa. 1, 2. So it goes up 2, and then it's over 1. And I can see that here. I was about to point to the screen, but you wouldn't have seen my finger. So you can see here 3 over 1. So 3 minus 1 is 2. 1 minus 0 is 1. So it would be 2 over 1, which is just 2. So 2x plus our y-intercept. I see it crosses the y-axis right here at 1. And I have equals instead of plus. Plus 1. And then I create a scenario. It doesn't have to be super fancy. The assessment page, um, it looks like it's just a combination of all of the different ones that you just did on the previous tabs. Again, if they've given you the table, you can insert the chart, make the graph that way, and then standard form. So standard form, excuse me, with standard form, we did you can rewrite this so that it is in y equals mx plus b form and solve that way. I will probably post another video in the next day about how to do from standard form because it's not something we did a tremendous lot of work in the classroom with. So I will come back with that and shoot that video. I don't want to take any more time up from this because it's already been about 12 minutes. So I'll come back and do another one on that one. But if you have any questions, please make sure you reach out to your teacher and ask. If you need additional help. We can provide it to you. Again, I know for myself, I'm not making it mandatory that you do it digitally, but it is an option. And again, the graph, it's done for you. You want to do it on paper, that's fine. Just shoot a picture of your work. Make sure you're submitting it to teachers. Make sure you're staying engaged. Okay, so that's all I have for this. So again, this is for the week of May 4th, the enrichment work. Thanks. Bye.